Why did my complaint about not getting to play video games turn into a federal investigation? Mr. Rogers showed up to history class every day with his gaming setup, the kind with RGB lights and mechanical keyboards that made every 8th grader practically beg to play. But Rogers had one rule that nobody questioned. Only boys could earn gaming time. After our World War II lessons, Mr. Rogers would quiz the boys on military tactics, and whoever answered right got to play these violent combat games, while us girls were stuck organizing his filing cabinets and grading papers for nothing. I was obsessed with gaming, literally played Battlefield every night after homework, so watching Austin and Harold play while my hands got paper cuts from filing made my blood boil. I would have memorized the entire Wikipedia page on D-Day for just 5 minutes with a controller, but Rogers said, "Sweet girls like you should focus on schoolwork, not video games." So after 3 weeks of this sexist crap, I stormed into Principal Wagner's office. Mr. Rogers' gaming system is completely misogynistic, I loudly proclaimed. Wagner slowly looked up from his computer like I was a piece of gum stuck to the bottom of his shoe. Only boys get to play games every week while girls do all the boring work. It's literally sexism. Wagner leaned back in his chair with this patronizing expression. "Kylie, those games aren't appropriate for girls anyway. Mr. Rogers is building young men's confidence through strategic thinking. You're overreacting about video games when you should be grateful he lets you help with important administrative tasks." "But I have a 2.5 kill-death ratio in Call of Duty," I protested. "Young lady, that language is exactly why these games aren't suitable for you," Wagner said coldly. "This conversation is over. Get out of my office." Since nobody would listen, I decided to keep detailed notes in my phone like I was building a case. November 3rd, boys played tactical shooters for 40 minutes while girls alphabetized 3 years of old tests. November 5th, girls asked to play, and Rogers said we were too emotional for war simulations. November 10th, boys got invited to exclusive after-school gaming club while girls weren't even allowed to watch. After 2 weeks of evidence, I showed my findings to my homeroom teacher. She barely glanced at my phone before pushing it back. "Video games can be very violent and disturbing for young women. Focus on your grades instead," she said in that fake concerned voice. Even my mom dismissed me at dinner, spewing the same rhetoric as her, but she didn't forget to add in, "Sweetie, Mr. Rogers knows what's appropriate for his students. You're overreacting about toys when you should appreciate that he's preparing those boys to be leaders." I didn't need to be prepared to know what was unfair. They'd been preaching about equality since kindergarten, but apparently that ended at PlayStation controllers. Rogers had even made the after-school elite gaming squad, a permanent thing where only his future warriors got to join. When I asked the boys what games they played, they all got weird and said Rogers was teaching them combat skills and how to show the school they're not weak. Niall showed me his notebook with drawings of the school layout marked with offensive positions, which seemed try-hard even for gaming. When I tried to join gaming club, Rogers laughed in my face and said I lacked the warrior mentality for his advanced training. So that Friday, I convinced Reggie from math class to come over after gaming club. Reggie was this sweet kid who always shared his chips at lunch, and I figured he'd finally prove to my parents that I was missing out on awesome games. Reggie sat in my living room with my parents and went on about how cool Mr. Rogers was. "The games are just the beginning," Reggie said excitedly. "Mr. Rogers teaches us how to apply video game knowledge in real life. Like yesterday, we used our characters' weapons in school when everyone left, and he showed us how to properly aim and position ourselves in hallways and classrooms just like the characters do." I gasped excitedly and told Mom, "See, that's what I'm missing out on because he hates that I'm a girl." My mom ignored me and asked Reggie more questions. "When you say you use the weapons from the games, what weapons are you talking about, sweetie?" "You know, the same firearms from Call of Duty and Halo. He keeps them locked in this big case and only takes them out after school when the building's empty. And he shows you how to use them in the actual school?" Mom's voice was steady but strange. "Yeah, we practice clearing rooms just like in the games. He times us and everything. Last week he taught us about reload speeds in the science wing." I squealed. "Does he ever talk about why you're learning this?" Mom asked. Reggie nodded enthusiastically and I was getting more jealous by the second. "He says we're special, that we're training for something important. He calls it our final mission and says we'll show everyone what we've learned. He keeps saying it'll happen before spring break and that everyone will understand our purpose soon." My mom stood up very slowly. "Reggie, I need you to stay here with Kylie's dad for a few minutes, okay?" My mom disappeared into the kitchen while Dad kept Reggie talking. She was on the phone, but I couldn't hear what she was saying. Within 20 minutes, police cars filled our driveway. They took Reggie to another room while officers asked him questions, which was weird because I was the one being discriminated against. Mr. Rogers wasn't at school Monday, or ever again. His classroom was sealed with yellow tape. FBI agents carried out boxes and that big locked case Reggie had mentioned. Even I thought they were making a big deal over video games. Years later, I finally understood it was never about games.